Start recording. Start broadcasting. Okay, I think we fixed it this time. Okay, sorry everybody. Having some issues, but we fixed that. Let me get this going, but before I begin, just want to say, hey, Katie here, and my brother Shaggy is on Skype. Are you on Skype? There you are.
Thanks, so.
I'm going to open the chat just to make sure this is working, but yeah, sorry about the feedback. That was crazy. I'm going to open the chat and make sure things are happening. We've both been really busy today, so I got home really late, and sounds like you had some celebrating going on. Okay, there we go. Chat's open. Hi, guys. Damn, I have to sign in. I'm not going to sign in. I'm going to cancel. I'm just going to watch the chat. I'm not going to type. Hi, everybody. Sorry for issues.
Oh, like I'm signed in as you in another computer. That's weird.
That is creeping me out.
So I'm writing as Katie. This is not Katie.
This is weird.
But it is.
Can you guys hear Shaggy all right on Skype? Awesome. Okay.
I am Katie's inner thoughts.
Damn it.
Cartoons.
That is
Cookies.
Weird. It's true.
Sleep.
Oh, that's exactly the way my thoughts work. Oh yeah, don't forget sushi.
That's weird. I guess I've been signed in on this computer before for some of the episodes that I did.
Yeah.
I'm actually not watching the show because I don't know if it's going to cause like a weird feedback.
Yeah, I think if you watch the show, it's going to cause reverb. So.
No, it wouldn't. That makes no sense. But yeah. How's it going?
Good.
I have the chat open. Katie's Inner Thoughts is also in the chat. If you want to ask Katie inner thought questions, the unabashed brain, the unfiltered will respond.
I'm going to keep flipping back to the camera as this camera freezes. So
I actually am wearing headphones this flip.
Wait, built-in eyesight. Ah, don't look at me. Okay.
The only thing is, if I'm watching the show, there's probably a bit of a delay, so I'd hear everything twice because I'm live on Skype with headphones, listening to Katie. And in the show, it'd also be live and then slightly delayed and everything.
I guess if you watch... okay, the thing keeps freezing. I'm going to figure this out. Did we find a way that I could draw on the computer and we could talk?
No. We'd have to... Ever since you upgraded to Lion, everything went wrong.
It's not my fault!
No, I didn't ask for it.
I didn't ask for it either.
Luxfox says live on Skype with headphones sounds like a hipster band.
Yeah.
I was actually talking about that today. I was talking about band names and how they're so easy to make. You know, not to like criticize bands, but I'm like, if you want to make up some band names, all you gotta do is mix two things. Like, let's look over there. There's a bench. Let's look over here. There's a garbage can.
Yeah.
And we put the two together, and we got a band name. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. I gotta say, this might not be much of a drawing show because the camera is freezing like crazy every time I move too quickly, so...
I also blame Lion.
Yeah, well, it's also Lion's fault, so I'm gonna draw very slowly, and if you guys are just listening to the chat, that's probably the best way to go about this show, because I might not even notice things have frozen.
P4 says I'm eating some of the worst teriyaki I've ever had before.
What's bad teriyaki like?
Not good, I assume.
How do you mess up teriyaki? You get the sauce? Sauce.
So, though I'm not there in person, I'm here in voice, yelling at you through. It's not a direct feed, so you're just hearing Katie's speakers.
Yeah.
If it sounds crazy weird. I'm using the finest of technology on my end.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for running from the bar to help me out.
Yeah. Well, there's an event tonight that was like a launch for a web series a friend of mine's working on called Pretty and Geek.
Oh, nice.
It's like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of show. And they're just doing a launch party, and that's like literally like across the street from me, so I had no excuse not to be there.
How'd that go?
Oh, went pretty well. We were all just like hanging around. I didn't stay too long because this was coming up. And I see everyone in the chat being like, so long.
I know.
Thank
you guys so much for waiting. This was going to be a normal show, and then things went to hell in my studio.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was going to be an extra special episode because it was going to be filmed up north.
Yeah. I was gonna go over to Shaggy's place, so we'd both be hanging out there. And then I had a really bad storyboard crash where I lost all my files.
Oh my god.
And the thing with Storyboard Pro is I don't know how to save as new file. Like, all you can do is save as file. And then it was like someone moved my file and I couldn't find it and I lost all the other files and I thought I had all these hours of work that were gone. Needless to say, people were able to find it eventually, but I lost like a lot of time. And our deadlines on this show are, we have to get 3.4 pages of script done a week. So I gotta get a lot done. Yeah, I am drawing a line. I'm drawing this stupid line that is causing issues with this computer.
Yeah, one of these days we gotta do like a whole overhaul and make, like, you realize in the old days of Shenanigans Live we had like better technology and stuff and everything worked.
Yeah, when
like,
we started we could cut under the screen. We had wipes and things.
Yeah, we had star wipes and we had Skype feed coming in live and stuff.
Yeah,
It was great.
do interviews and things.
Yeah.
It's a weird line.
Yeah, we still have to do that, don't we? I have to like actually interview people on the show.
Oh, we should interview people, because this is an educational show.
Yes, it's an educational show, as we say everywhere.
Yeah. Anytime someone asks what I'm up to on a Wednesday night, I'm like, oh, I'm doing a live show, you should come on. And they're like, no.
Flexbox wants to pull us into the YouTube live beta.
What?
Strings. I guess that means everyone gets access to the same technology that like U2 and Bono and stuff has when they're like
just
live
Bono.
on YouTube. That'd be kind of fun. The whole world would have like a thing saying, "Oh, Shenanigans Live is on in like a minute," and they're like, "Why?
Yeah.
Why do these guys have a live show? Why are they still recording?"
Crazy live shows. Because we just keep it real. Talk about things. Oh man. So I hear you might have some good news.
Nothing I want to say this yet because nothing's
okay, yeah, I guess it's both of us.
So that's the end of my story. How you guys doing?
Yeah, how's everybody doing out there? Everybody's good? Oh, good. Who's at Comic-Con right now, you jerks?
Oh gosh, yeah. No, we're not.
Not us. We are not at Comic-Con.
No, we are not.
We were going to go up to the last minute, and then actually I ended up getting this job come up, and I couldn't really say no because it's my first feature job. It's direct to DVD feature, but it's still feature. So I was like, I gotta do that, even though it happens exactly when Comic-Con's happening.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to hide off of Twitter and Facebook because everybody's like, wow, having such a great time.
Oh god, it's the worst. Every article is just like, we're going to Comic-Con to have fun and you're not.
I know, all of them are like that.
It's the worst. I was like, we had plans. We're going to go to Disney.
I know, we were going to do Disney again. We were going to do California Adventure.
We're going to spend 2 days there. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Like, go to Cars World.
We're going to see some cars. Take pictures with Lightning McQueen, our favorite.
And I like that Creep Horses. That sounds like awesome fun. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be fun if we went. Damn it.
We're going to eat some of that. Oh, what is our favorite yogurt place?
What, Pinkberry?
Pinkberry.
Yeah.
You can get like watermelon flavored yogurt. And,
yeah, so good. Oh, now you make me want to go get some yogurt at like Menchie's or something.
Yeah, I have a coupon. We should go.
Well, you're not here with that coupon now, right?
But it's on my fridge.
Canada's Wonderland, yeah, we gotta go there too.
Yeah, we should do a summer trip too.
Ride the thing.
Leviathan.
There you go.
It's actually
the world's biggest thing.
I don't even know if it is the biggest thing.
It's just got a steep drop or something.
TV Dinner says this line looks like a fierce intellectual.
I will not see the line until it ends. I don't dare open up the stream. It's gonna be weird.
It's like kind of like a lady furry thing.
Alright, well, how about let this do. I'm gonna try to open up. I don't know if it's gonna cause like a weird conflict though, because I'm mute technically.
Unless you put it on mute. Oh, you know what? You can't mute the commercials.
Oh, how dare. So, you know, though we may not be going to Comic-Con, perhaps good things have come from being in Toronto around this time of year. So, we'll leave it at that.
Oh, footage froze.
Really?
Yeah, that's okay. You guys can look at this lovely line for a minute.
The sign says, I feel so out of loop not being Canadian. I think that's how the rest of the world feels. I imagine so.
And,
Flux claims truth. I have, where's my list of things?
Speak the truth.
So speaking of the loop, we were most in the loop this past week. It was Taffy, the Toronto Arts Festival International.
And they served taffy.
What?
And they served taffy.
Yes,
they did. Taffy.
They had taffy.
I got blue taffy every time.
Good.
Yeah, Toronto Animation Arts Festival. It's the first year they're running an animation festival in Toronto. which is fantastic because the building is right on my street and it's so easy to get to. And yeah, it's just great to. I mean, we have live film, we have shorts, animated short, or no, we have
we have documentary festivals.
Yeah, we have documentary
the film
fests.
fest.
There's the big old film fest here, so it's great to finally have animation here, where people can come and do panels. And I originally didn't think I was going to check it out. I wanted to, but I thought I
told you should. Like, it's right beside. Like, it's in our neighborhood, for God's sake.
I know.
We should go to these things. It's
yeah,
like,
so
oh, this amazing festival showed up, and I didn't go.
Yeah, no, it was great. Actually, I'm glad I went to the party, even though
Good.
I had a. The weird thing is, everybody I know, I'm like, are you going? Like, no. Are you going? No. Are you going? No. I'm like, you're the worst.
It was like a Nelvana party. They're like, I work for Nelvana. Screw that.
Yeah.
Okay,
and I mean, you had to pay to get in, I guess. It's like, boo. But, yeah, no, the industry party was really good. I had a lot of fun. Here, I'm just going to go back to Logitech, and I'm going to try and unfreeze this. Don't look at my tired face. Okay, and Logitech. No.
I hear you met a celebrity artist.
Well, it's so weird. Okay. Well, let me preface. My fiance, Jerry, my fiance, his first job in the animation industry was working for a certain studio that makes certain wacky cartoons of certain crazy cat and crazy mosquito dog. Okay, the first show Jerry worked on was Ren and Stimpy for John Kay, and when they were doing it in Ottawa, like the more adult, crazy, weird version. Still cool, still cool. I mean, you and I grew up with Ren and Stimpy, so with the classics like the Space Madness and like when Cousin Sven comes to visit and just all those really wacky episodes. And I mean, I love Ren and Stimpy. Like, I remember when our dad got the tapes. We watched them. It was the first time I saw cartoons making like these absolutely insane expressions. It's just so weird, and just feeling all these. I think it was one of the more like first adult cartoons I watched too, where it was like, just kind of like all the. I don't even know how to describe it exactly. If you haven't seen Ren and Stimpy, it's just kind of like this dog and this cat, but it's just so nuts. I don't know. You're good at describing stuff.
Well, it was a series that really, if not a tribute or a parody, somewhere in between the two of a classic cat and mouse, cat and dog, kind of just smart character, dumb character duo.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a tribute to all that. And if you watch SpongeBob today, that's greatly influenced by Ren and Stimpy, and there are many other artists as well influenced by that kind of a style.
They're one of the ones who started with the really creepy close-up, where it's like the cartoon face suddenly has like stubble and
more detail and pores
and pores and just it was just funny for weird acting, just weird over the top stuff, like absolutely bizarre scene setups. Anyway, I mean, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Classics I can recommend are the Firehounds when they're both firefighters, Space Madness when they're in space running a ship together. There's lots of good ones. Anyway, so John Kay I knew was going to be at Tappy, the creator of Ren and Stimpy, and I know a lot of people that have worked through Spunko, so they knew he was going to be there, and they were going to be working on a panel with him as well. So I went to the Tappy party, the pre-party with a friend of mine who worked on the show, Mike Kerr, who's the voice on the Ripping Friends, and he did a lot of work. Ren and Stimpy's friends and my fiance as well. Man, the story's rambling. I'm going to try to wrap it up. Sorry, my brain is exhausted. So we went to the party, and then he was like, oh, tell me if you see John. Keep an eye out for him. And then I kind of look over, and I'm like, oh, there he is. And John Kay's just kind of hanging out by a pillar. And so Mike goes right up to him to talk to him, and suddenly it's like, I have no idea what to even say to this guy. Like, I've been watching his cartoons since I was a kid. And it's like, I go up to him, I shake his hand, and then I just kind of don't know what to even say at all. And they're having a conversation. I'm just sitting there like, oh my god. And the thing too is it's like you're at these parties and it's just pumping super crazy loud music anyway. So you can't hear anything. So, I mean, my story is that I don't even have a story. It was like they had a conversation. I kind of saddled off because I didn't even know what to say. And met some friends from school. It's terrible. I shouldn't have even started that. Help me out here.
I don't know, it just sounded like it was exciting. It was like, oh, hey, it's John Kay.
It was cool. I got to shake his hand.
Hey, see? Check that off the list.
Done. That's off my bucket list.
That's always been the thing. Like whenever you meet, like finally meet those people, all these years that you followed their work, it's like, what is there to say? Really, it's like
I never know what to say, especially people. It's just you can't even say, you know, I spent hours watching your, like, I mean, I guess you could, but it's like, I'm sure they've heard it so many times. And, like, I know he's pretty particular with the kind of art he likes too, so I'm just like, oh, I probably wouldn't even like anything I do. I don't know. Riveting Tales is TV dinner. I do what I can to make this educational show, but mostly my brother's the storyteller, I'm the story drawer.
Oh.
So it's something I need to get better at. But yeah, no, it was cool seeing him, but I seriously couldn't even like figure out what to say.
Yeah, we're not a schmoozing type of people.
No, and the thing is you were gonna come help me schmooze too.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I was like, yes.
I have even less to say to like all these animators. I'm like, I don't do what you do.
And I know people who do. Like, I have friends who run companies, and they're just really great and personal and excellent at schmoozing. But I'm just like, oh, hey, and then pause, and then pretend I'm looking at something else. It's horrible. But it was interesting. I saw some interesting films. We got to see a shorts festival together. One of the shorts things, you and I got to see.
Last Bell.
Yeah, straight up shorts. It was a lot of short films. They had The Last Bell, which was really nice short anime. Blah blah blah. A really really great animation. It was super nice. I think it was it's done by one of the I forget the name of the director, but he worked with
Neil Boyle.
Neil Boyle. I think he worked with Richard Williams on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and it's beautifully classically animated. It's a really nice little story set in London about a girl, a woman, like an office worker, finding love. And I think it took them 15 years to animate it. It's been beautifully done. There's crazy, crazy effects. They have a background designer who worked on Who Framed Roger Rabbit and on The Thief and the Cobbler. And just wacky, crazy pans and like, yeah, really, really technically fantastic. And the story was really cute, and the acting was really cute. And the characters were almost like, she almost looked kind of Muppety. Just had this really cute design. Yeah, I think that was my favorite one from the festival. So nice. Ugh, these drawings aren't turning out. I'm gonna flip that over.
One of the other great submissions was Fester Goes Fishing.
Oh my god, that was so good.
I don't know if any of these are available online anymore, but if you can track down Fester Goes Fishing, it's a real treat.
That was so good. It's just that weird humor. Oh man. Can you even describe that? I don't even know if you can find it.
Oh really? It's like, it's tricky to explain. Like it feels very classical, like Tex Avery in a way, but with a more lazier sense of humor in that sense, where everything is very like jokes aren't necessarily like sharp and witty. It's like just the weird way people say things, and how stuff is just out of place. It's a different kind of humor that is like attached to a Tex Avery kind of setup of wacky sight gags and like people running behind things and not showing up on the other side and stuff.
And the main character is like this fish, and his design is like a bean wearing underpants with these giant lips. And his girlfriend is like this drunk lady, and it's just so weird. Like, Faster, it's their anniversary. And she's just kind of wobbling all over the place.
Yeah.
It was pretty ridiculous. I don't even remember like the major. Man, the thing is, you don't want to spoil anything with the story, but Google Fester Goes Fishing. If you can find the short, it's a really silly little 10-minute short. It's totally worth the watch.
There's another solid short called Tasty Visuals, which was that one with the wolf in the office with all the sheep.
Oh yeah, that was really cute.
Really cute, well done, like Baby Songs. Really nice mix of 3D, classical, lots of different. Like basically the festival, unfortunately we didn't get to see too many of the screenings.
Mm-hmm.
There was like 3 sets of shorts, and then there's like all these like experimental and student stuff and motion graphics. But we only got to like one panel and one workshop, and one screening night basically.
It was a little bit weird though because like we went to one called Straight Up Tunes, so we kind of figured it would be just very straight up short story animations, but there was some experimental stuff in there too. And I mean, I liked the experimental stuff ish. I mean, it was good, but it seemed out of place in a one that was supposed to be just about tunes, I guess. Like if it's called Tunes, I'm not expecting to see a black design of a circle kind of superimposed over eclipse-like red colors beeping the music. That's not really what I think when I hear tune.
It's not really straight up tune.
Also, there was a beautiful one that made us cringe like crazy. It's a 3D rendering of it's a spider web, and it's a moth caught in a spider web, and it's a spider eating the moth. And there's kind of synthetic, is that even the word? Just electronic music to go with it. And it's actually quite beautiful, although horrifying too, because we'd be cringing in the seats because it's just so much detail in the spider. But then it's kind of like the breakdown inside the moth and just graphic shapes and noise, and I thought it was quite fantastic, but I wouldn't call it tune.
Yeah, no. And no, like I wouldn't bring my kids at it to like straight up tunes, kids, and it's like, oh god, this is the most terrifying thing ever.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, who programmed this?
I know. Well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, I guess they kind of leave it up to, they're not super strict on age, because I went to one called Short and Weirdy, and Short and Weirdy was a lot of strange films, but there was a lot of very sexual films too, and you know, there were parents who brought their little kids. But the last one, it was called Bobby Yeah, and I can't remember the name of the animator. He's from the UK, and this one won the festival. It was really well done, and the story was very interesting, but it was so disturbing. His animation is just very fleshy, very like, I mean, it's kind of like, it's a lot of like blood and spit looking kind of stuff, and fleshy shapes just oozing and falling all over each other. Like, it's pretty gross and interesting, but kind of repulsive at the same time. And you know, there were little kids in that audience too, and I was disturbed watching it, just like, it was so freaking creepy. And yeah, I gotta send you that link because it was actually really interesting. But God,
you saw another classic called was it Yum?
Yeah, the first film was called Yum, and it's about I guess he's a little kid. It's like this really cute chibi anime style, and it's this little chibi character washing her hands, and then she looks over to the toilet, and there's a giant cartoon poo on the toilet. Just, you know, the ones with the little eyes and the happy face. He's just like, yum! He's making the yum noise, and then he gets huge and fills the entire bathroom, and he's licking her, and she's like, ah! And then he's like, yum! And then finally she escapes from the bathroom, and it's horrible, but it's adorable, and it's weird. I don't know, it was, yeah, I guess the whole point of that thing was Short and Weirdy.
Yeah, like I say, right there.
There was another epic one about mutant giant chickens based in India, I think it was, and it was like super mutant chickens from in the future, and these restaurant owners that have to fight the super mutant chickens. They know kung fu, and it was pretty funny. Yeah, very, very odd. Fluxfox says Robert Morgan. Is that the name of the? Who did? That one. It was interesting.
Cooper Designs this way. It just occurred to me.
Oh boy.
Looking forward to what comes after.
Revelation. Hess listed. He's listed as the filmmaker. Yeah, Robert Morgan. Cooper Designs says there may not be a rant tonight.
Oh, really?
Is there? Do you not have one lined up?
It doesn't work as well when I don't have the camera.
You really gotta see his face.
Yeah, this is just me and my relaxed evening wear.
Yeah, and this guy says, "Where's Shaggy at?"
I'm in my house.
Yeah, we've had a very late night tonight, so this is kind of a not regular show.
Yeah, conflict of schedules and stuff that only happens on a Wednesday once and ever.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm not drawing super great tonight. I'm very...
This is an educational thing.
This is not educational.
Sometimes you have
we make
those
sure to
days.
give you the best we can. I tell the best stories. Shaggy's always here.
Yeah, sometimes we have days and sometimes we have days. You know how they say?
Sometimes we have days.
But that was Taffy. Definitely hope it comes back next year.
I'm sure it will.
Excellent event. All hosted at the Bell Lightbox Cinema, Bell Tip Lightbox. It's if you're around Toronto, you know, definitely something worth checking out. If you missed it, go check it out next year if it comes back. Hopefully it comes back. It should.
Yeah, no, it should. There were some really good talks too. The only one I went to check out was Indie Animators, which was they interviewed a couple animators who've been making their living. Well, not making their living, but their passion is making their own short films. And one of the guys interviewed is a friend of my fiance's. I don't know if anyone knows Nick Cross's work, but he's actually working on his own feature film right now, like him alone. So that's pretty epic. But they had a lot of really great advice, and that I could apply to comic making as well, or any side art project you have where it's just like, how do you do it? Like, how do you make profit off it? And the long story is, or the short of it is, like, a lot of them aren't, obviously doing it for profit. They're doing it because they love it. But, I mean, how do you do it? It's like they wake up extra early. They just, the time a lot of people would put into relaxing and taking it easy after work, they put into working on their projects. And I'm trying to think of some of the advice they gave that was specific to... I mean, I came out of it pretty inspired for working on comics from them, talking about short films. Let me think. I wrote stuff down. What did I write down? It was so good.
Very inspiring. Deep to heart.
This is supposed to be a very inspiring show. Let me think. One of the interesting things was one of the guys was pretty knowledgeable about history, and they were talking about back when they first started making feature-length films. Actually, when films started, people started doing short films, and when longer films were proposed, studio people were nervous, like, who's going to watch a feature-length film? People only like shorts. And I mean, we know how that is today. It's like people prefer feature-length because it gives you a chance to get more into a story and get more characters going. So it's interesting just that they were hesitant at first to do feature-length. Can't just do all the shorts about the train coming at the screen.
It was a popular genre at the time.
Yeah, and then it was kind of like, they were asking Nick why he's doing feature-length films, and it's kind of like, well, one, he's got a big story he definitely wanted to try, and one of his big inspirations, too, was hearing Richard Williams talking at the creator of Roger Rabbit, or the animator of Roger Rabbit, talking at a conference just about that he's working on a feature film right now, and he's like, I might not even be able to finish it in my lifetime, but I'm still doing it because I love it. And it's like, yeah, you should do it because you love doing it. And also, too, it's like, Walt Disney as well. It's like no one really took him seriously until he started making feature films. It's like he had all those shorts going, but it wasn't until you make your first movie that people really stand up and take notice, which is interesting. What was I going to say on that as well? I don't know, a lot of really great topics about like whether you should put your stuff online, and everybody always says, yeah, put your stuff online because you get more feedback from putting your work online than submitting it to what do you call those, screenings? Festivals sometimes. But I don't know, it was a lot I could relate to. And I mean, I haven't made my own film since college, but it'd be cool to work on something at some point. Let's see.
I think one of the panels I wanted to check out but just couldn't was the State of the Industry one. Mm-hmm. That one sounded like I haven't heard anything from it though, but it just sounded like it was an interesting take, like seeing both of those in conjunction, like the indie and then the industry, and like seeing what you can take from both of them to see where should we be going,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's my point.
Ta-da! We are so educational tonight.
Stew on that for a bit, guys.
Yeah.
The one I actually got to see, though, was about what do you do after your series gets greenlit. It's called, like, From Napkin to the Big Screen, after it was. It was basically saying, like, you pitched, like, I've done all these courses and seen all these conferences about, like, pitching and having your pitch package and the Bible and your one line and all the stuff they even tell you about with comics, like having your elevator pitch. But the whole thing is, what happens after, whoever you pitch to is like, cool, let's do this. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what the panel I went to was all about. And the one of the things I took away that was really interesting was they're saying development with an animated series takes a long, long, long time. If you get your show developed in 18 months, that's crazy fast, comparatively. They were talking about a series they're working on right now that's been in development for 6 years.
Whoa, that's a long time for a series.
And it's just like, what's delaying? Is it just this isn't the right time, or we just keep rewriting and starting from scratch? It's just like, in the span of this happening, there's still more pitches showing up to both the studio and the broadcaster.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost double if you consider that. They both are getting them. So it's just like development sounds like a bit of a, you won't see your things just the same as being in the books and stuff. Like you won't see your comics out there until a good year later after like the publisher and this and that has happened. And, just something to take away from that. Yeah.
It takes a while. I mean, animation, you have to. I mean, it takes a long time. Like it's a solid year before I see anything I boarded show up on. Well, maybe not as much as a year, but I mean, you gotta board it. They gotta animate it all. You gotta get the voices going. You gotta edit it. You gotta get the sound in. Like, it takes a good solid while. Animation takes a long time. What was interesting, actually, one of the things they had on the indie panel too, was it was kind of like, you do your short films because you love it, but short films also, you're a lot of folks. It's not necessarily, I'm going to make my living doing short films. I mean, that would be fantastic, but unfortunately, that's not really the reality because it's hard to make money doing that. I mean, people don't really buy DVDs of.
And there's so much free.
There's so much free
things out there
content
nowadays. It's impossible to sell.
Yeah, absolutely. But what short films end up being is they're the commercial for yourself. So it's like you take a look at, this is what I can produce. This is me. This is the stuff I do on my own. And then, it shows that you can work for people and then studios just, they'll contact you to work on their storyboards, to help them develop pitches, to work on things. So essentially it does become a commercial for you. And that's the stuff you do for fun on your spare time. And I was kind of mentioning this last week, although I think I was a little bit ranty because I was tired coming home. But it's unfortunately I don't have much time to work on comics right now. But comics very much is or was my commercial for myself. I got my first board job through the Shrub Monkey comics because I could show expression and acting, that I could do things with characters. And my first job ended up being on Johnny Test, and they hired me to work on board revisions, and then that got me my in. And then from there I was able to pick up extra boards. I kept going, and then this feature project I'm working on right now, like my blog, again, like my art and my comics and my updates, they were my commercial for myself because my director actually hadn't found my my reel or my resume or anything. He'd been pointed out to my blog, and he really liked that. So, I mean, you never know where the jobs are going to come from, but that stuff really helps. When you do your own projects, I mean, it also shows people that you're dedicated and you're interested. And, I mean, that's totally helped me. And also, too, you love it. I mean, you're going to do it anyway because you enjoy the work and you enjoy creating. It's like you with your videos, too. We just need to find you some work that goes with that.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get a job through talking to the camera, where it's just like, so a convention's coming up this weekend.
You should check this out.
The local news channels are like, we need him.
Genius.
He's good at wasting time.
Yeah.
Padding a good 20 seconds of stuff.
Absolutely.
We'll see what happens with that. That being said, there is, as I structured the original new set of Talking to the Camera, the 2012 edition, I guess,
the
season.
Set.
The original run, I did like 5 episodes, and they were all shot the same day, and they were planned out, and it's like perfect. So I had like a month to play around with them. And I haven't had a chance to shoot the next set, but I think I'm coming up to that soon, which is nice, which feels good. Because I'm kind of debating over which 5 to do, because there's like so many different topics I want to like try to tackle, but it's trying to balance them out. Like one of them is probably going to be more visuals heavy than the other, so you got to make sure you don't have too many visual heavy episodes, because that way I would put too much time into one, and then the other would just be too weak. Let's see. Fox says, I still say Geek Trip Maps will get you work. Yeah, if you guys want to check that out, look up geektripmaps.com, where we ran, just because we had nothing to do, So we ran around Toronto and just I wish we had a Steadicam device, but we didn't have that. We just ran around and filmed all the comic shops and toy shops that are in like a certain vicinity, and made just like kind of a guided walking tour of if you're a traveling geek, you're coming to town for Anime North or for Fan Expo or TCAF or any of that. Here's some places you can check out.
You know what? You really needed that for like Montreal, because you and Helen went to Montreal and you guys were bored being there. So it's like if someone had to keep like these are the places you can go. It's like museums.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of the things I love to say about Shaggy's. Like, we went to Europe and we were in the Louvre, and he was like, "Yanners." So it's like, what do you do in Paris? Like when you're in Paris.
Oh, this sounds like a bow ride.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the whole hallway had like even more portraits of like just like Mona Lisa, but they weren't Mona Lisa, so no one cared. They were just as good.
No, I agree with that.
It's weird.
I do feel like, you know, it's beautifully done, and whenever I start to go on this rant, people are like, oh, hey, but blah, 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 and I'm like, yeah, but you have to admit it's a little bit hyped up. It's kind of like that Venture Time episode. No, yeah. Venture Time? Venture Bros? Yeah, where the Phantom is like the bad kind of art thief guy, and that Doug's like, but I want to steal the Mona Lisa. And he's like, what? No, why does everybody want that one? They don't understand these other ones. And he's trying to sell him on some other painting that's much better, but the guy's like, but the Mona Lisa.
He's so mainstream.
Because that's the one you steal, right?
Yeah. That's pretty funny. I haven't actually seen that. Was that season 4.5?
Actually, yeah. It was. I think it was one of the season finales. It was like a big hour-long one.
I gotta watch it again. I love the episode with the guy who plays the voice of Batman from animated series was like the Superman character. And it was so creepy and amazing at the same time.
Didn't they have Stephen Colbert in there for a bit?
Colbert was like the Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He was like the stretchy guy, but like the whole family was dysfunctional and just not working. It was awkward.
I love that it's like Venture Bros. It's like it's like the scientist guy is kind of like a failed Johnny Test grown up, but there also is Johnny Quest, but there also is like an old Johnny Quest.
Yeah, well, and Grace Banner's in it too.
Yeah, like they're actual characters in the show. And they're so weird.
Creep Porpoise saying Nick just bought another 26 episodes of Legend of Korra after book 2 comes out.
Yeah, I've heard.
Wow.
Yeah. I am excited. So for after book 2, so there's going to be 3 books. So it's going to be each.
Right.
There's actually broke my heart. My friend sent me a link to the panel for after Korra.
Oh,
she's like,
really?
You should check this out this weekend. I'm like, I'm not there!
Oh, right, if you're there. Yeah, there's some people we just haven't told yet.
Well, I Facebooked it, but, I mean...
I've been meaning to meet the voice actress from way back when, from the old Silly Kingdom radio play.
Oh, yeah.
And she just wrote me being like, oh, I'm not going to make it, I'm sick. And then I wrote, I'm not either, I'm broke.
I know. Yeah.
So, yeah.
We're a little heartbroken, but...
No one, yeah. I'm going to be extra, like... I'm going to be basically like this for the next 2 weeks. I'm just like...
I know.
Because it should have been my vacation.
I know.
Should have been fun.
Like, I don't get vacation no more. Like, I was actually going to take vacation off after this job. I was like, I'm going to take 2 weeks and just read a book. It's going to be fantastic. And then a friend of mine who's directing on a series was like, oh, I got a job for you. We need you to start in August. I'm like, oh. So the thing was, if I started in August, I could get 5 storyboards. And I was like, you know, I'd really like to take August off, so maybe I could take 4 storyboards. And it's like, if I can't start in August, I can't start at all. Like, I can't do any of them. So, you know, the awesome thing is that I have a laptop and a tiny Cintiq, so I'm going to take it to the cottage, and it's going to be fantastic. I don't care if I'm working the whole time. I'm going to jump in the lake. It's going to be great. But, I mean, you know, it's kind of like, if you're working freelance, you have to try and enjoy the perks of it. So I can take work anywhere, well, then I'm going to take work anywhere. Well, the sucky thing, though, was that last Comic-Con I actually brought commission work up with me, and I was so stressed out.
Yeah.
I was trying to work on stuff in the hotel room after the con. Just like, ah! Oh, man, last Comic-Con was so good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. We've got to go to the Jeff Smith party.
Oh, yeah, that was ridiculous.
We got to see things. We got to hang out with the flight crew for Flight 8.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It was a time.
It was a time. Computer froze, so I'm just going to refix it. Logitech, built-in eyesight. We got to get this computer fixed, I swear.
Yep. Get Jerry on that.
Jerry, fix it.
You broke it. You fixed it.
Yeah, so you can see when I'm not really thinking about drawings, they don't really make any sense. Like, why is she kicking? What's with her expression? Some people are really good at making sense when they're doodling, but I just kind of draw things.
I'm just pretending I can see them because I can't.
Isn't that great?
I don't have my screen up.
Yeah.
I could just be like lying on the couch and doing the show, and I'm like, wow, that's a day.
I hope this doesn't just lapse into laziness.
Yeah, just like put a pillow on.
You're like, I don't even have to go to your house to be on the
show. No, I'll be back next week, assuming nothing crazy happens.
TV Dinner says you were doing storyboards behind the table at VanCap. Yes, I was. At VanCap, I had a storyboard deadline, so
take your work with you, you know.
Yeah, I had to. I had my papers with me, and I was trying to concentrate. And,
supposedly, Fluxbox is going to do all the cons next year.
I'm going to do all the cons next year.
If you're serious, there's a website that actually tells you every con in like North America. It's pretty baffling. There's like 3 cons every weekend.
Oh, North America? Yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah, it's insane.
If
like,
you count the
like,
states, there's
like there's the big ones. Like there's like Emerald City, San Diego, New York.
I've heard the big ones are like, okay, what are the, okay, well it depends, because there's the indie cons and then there's the,
yeah. Well, there's difference between like, there's the big, you know, news junket con where it's all like, oh, announced at New York Comic Con. Like that's like, you know, you bring your wares there. And
actually, Kel, who does the Cautionary Fables and Fairy Tales anthology that we're part of, she invited us to exhibit at New York Comic Con with her in October. But I don't know.
Wait, is that during?
She had to know ASAP, and I unfortunately will probably be working on boards then, so I had to sadly decline.
Isn't Ape also in October?
Actually, I'd really like to do Ape. Maybe we should look into that.
So just bringing storyboards down to San Francisco?
Yeah, probably. Actually, what we wanted to do is CTN. I don't know if you're interested in that.
Where's that?
It's an animation festival. It's in November.
Oh, what would we do there?
We'd hang out with animation films.
Oh. So basically Taffy, but somewhere else.
Taffy, but California. And we can go to DreamWorks.
Oh yeah, well.
Have free ice cream.
Go say hi to Nickelodeon. Like,
go say hi to Nickelodeon.
What's going on? Oh, Cora, right? That's nice.
Oh, yeah. I got friends at Nickelodeon. We can go check out Cora.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I got friends at Disney. We'll check out whatever they're working on at Disney.
Creative Porter says I want to make it at least one next year. I even missed Stumptown.
Oh yeah, Stumptown was. I didn't go this year. I had friends who were there.
Endless Guide at least attended Emerald City this year, and I heard Emerald City's pretty good. Like even like for both indie and for like the big affairs. Like it actually. No, I guess it depends who you talk to, but I heard like Emerald City was actually pretty decent for indie comics.
Yeah, I heard the good ones are Emerald City, Cake in Chicago, I think Meecap in Maine.
Yeah.
There's Mocha in New York and Stumptown, and TCAP is the best.
Yeah, TCAP is
like because it's free to exhibit at. No, it's free to attend. It's costing money to exhibit at, and everybody comes down. Super fun. This year we had Brazilian Wonder Twins, Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba, and Jeff Smith was here, and Kazoo was here. All our flight buddies were here. It was a time.
Wait, are you talking about Tika?
Yeah.
Adam Warren?
Adam Warren was so nice. Saw him doing karaoke.
He was just finishing up Empowered like 7 or 8 or something at the time.
That guy is the nicest. I'm still like, it boggles my mind that he follows me on Twitter because I'm like, what do I talk about? What do I even talk about? I had a cupcake today.
And he's like, brilliant. No, Creative Cow just followed me, the guys who do all the After Effects tutorials and stuff.
Oh.
Only because I mentioned them, though. Because I was just like, I watched the tutorial on Creative Cow, and they're like, follow.
Oh. I'm followed by Poutine Bot.
Oh, yeah.
Because I
got a couple Poutine Bot.
Stupid Poutine Bot.
Cooper does on saying my budget for travel is limited. Yeah, that's the thing, too. It's kind of like, for my half of this whole Comic-Con fiasco, I kind of blew my budget on all the other cons, like going to Vancouver and Chicago.
I know.
You know, and I'm glad I went to both of them, but at the cost of, like, you know, now I can't afford San Diego.
I know. And the sad thing is, you know, I love San Diego. I had such a good time, but it's like usually we hide with the Bolt City flight booth, and I think this might be their last year having a table at Comic-Con. So.
Yeah, like the thing is in my mind is always like if I wasn't at a table, like at this. The other half is you have to understand, like the flight booth is going to be like 15 people at any given time or behind that table.
We're not talking about a table that you have to run all weekend.
Yeah,
it's like
you
a
can
table that
just
there's going to be a whole bunch of
at the
people
drop of
there.
a hat and go like check something out, then come back and run the table and sign some books, then run off again.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And I always thought to myself, if we didn't have this table here, I don't think I'd go to Comic-Con just as a fan, because it's like I'd be carrying bags and have nowhere to drop them off, and it's crowded. And like there's something magical about having like a home base. Yeah. Right in the middle of the convention that you just like duck under and leave your crap.
Especially when your home base is so awesome, and this is what our sister discovered last year, is it's like she'd meet people and she'd be like, oh, everybody's really nice here, and then she'd look through the flight book and realize who they were, and she was like, you do this, and you do this, and you're this person, you're so good. Like, it was so inspiring for her, and you know, I really wish we could have gone this year, and I was still planning on it, and even when I went in for my interview for this job, I was like, oh, maybe I won't be able to take it because I'm going to well, I mean, when I was told to come into the studio, I was like, well, I might not take this because there's Comic-Con. And then when I heard what the project was and everything, I was like, yeah. And then it was like work, and I'm like, I'm good. It's funny, it's like the grown-up decision. Do I go to Comic-Con or do I draw cartoons all day? Life's so hard. I wish I was a kid
like your
still.
Choice in the future.
I know.
As a kid, it's like being an adult's got to be a hard decision.
I'm such a dick because it's like I complain when I get tired, but it's like people are like, you're still drawing for a job. I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Like, you at least get to do what you love.
Yeah. I'm like, but guys, I had to draw so much today. Flex Fox, Katie World problems. I know, just tell me to shut up. It's like, yeah. But yeah, it would have been lovely. I would have liked to have gone one more time. But I mean, we could go again in the future.
I guess, that's what it comes down to, though. It's like, if we go again, it's like we're going just to wander around. We won't have a table to, like, hide behind or hang out behind or sell or chat with, like, unless we know other people there.
What would be cool is, like, in the future, if it's like we do any work that's picked up by a certain publisher or something, we can hide behind their table, do a signing, and then run amok.
So we have like this publisher there representing our book, and I just like run off to like, oh my god, this is
pretty much
My Little Pony figure.
I have to say, it's like my favorite part of Comic-Con was wandering the floor before it opens sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cold in there, it's freezing because of the air conditioning, and there's nobody there, so you can just run about, and the voice of God up on the speakers is like, please, attendees, return to your tables. If you have a small child, keep them in arms.
Here's an insider tip for all you watching. If you think going to Comic-Con and having like a press pass or a pro badge is special, you are wrong.
So wrong.
Exhibitor badge is the best badge you can have.
Yeah.
Because you get to go in like 2 hours early, leave an hour later, and skip all of those like lines because you work there. Like pros and press, you gotta wait just like anyone else. The only perk pros and press have is you get the preview night. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get an exhibitor badge.
Oh, it's fantastic because it's like you can scope out exactly what you want. So when the doors open, you just run there.
Oh, it's the worst. We're taking pictures beside everything before.
Oh, it was so good.
Lineups. Yeah.
Taking pictures beside all the best stuff in front of things. Just you get to meet people working behind the booth. Like if you want to talk to someone, it's like they're a little busy because they're setting up, but as an exhibitor before con, it's like the best time to seek people out and just chat and get ready. Because when the show starts, you're so busy, you can't really.
What I do definitely recommend is check out that documentary, Comic-Con of Fans Hope, episode 4 or something like that. It was a documentary film that came out, Morgan Spurlock or something and all that.
Yeah.
It's basically pretty perfect. It's the story of Comic-Con. It was actually filmed our first year there. It was 2010. Aww. And so I was like tearing up through the opening sequences. And it starts on the little red train that everyone rides into the town, the magical train from friggin' Spirited Away, where all the costume folk disembark and they have gallant parties and all this stuff. So that film just touched my heart, made me cry so many times.
Aww.
So check out Comic-Con, Fans Hope. Very, very fun doc. And the most interesting thing about the doc was I recognize a lot of the events and the people that were being featured. I kind of wove through a bunch of their stories in my own little travels. So it was very, very reminiscent. I have no connection to any other documentary beyond that, because this is my documentary.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Flex says, Shaggy, how do we manage to get ourselves exhibitor badge for E3? We must build a game company with Blockbuster upcoming game. Yeah, pretty much, that's it.
Wasn't Jason there as a...
I think he's there as press or pro.
I get that.
But like, the thing with the exhibitors is you're the guys who are also there early to set up and there to strike down. So of course you get early access. But if there's like enough people who work at the table, just run around, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to go to E3, but ever since going to PAX, I feel like I prefer PAX because it's more of a communal kind of version of E3, where it's like you just run around and make friends. It's not like everyone's trying to like do articles on the newest release from big companies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, PAX. I definitely want to try PAX East one of these years. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to make it into Prime again, just because like those tickets sell out mad these days. But like East is a lot closer. We can do like a road trip coming up next fall or whenever it is. I think it's late fall is PAX East in Boston or something.
Do you think PAX would be good for someone who's maybe more of a backseat gamer, like myself?
Yeah, because it's like you can just like there's like a bundle of people in a pile of bean bags on every floor, just like playing handheld games. You can just jump in and say what's up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's changed a bit now, I guess. But like back when I was doing it, there was like a stage dedicated to rock band, and people would line up to be the next band, and then there's just an audience watching all day long. You know, if you have nothing else to do, you go to the rock band stage and just see people make fools of themselves.
Yeah. And
that's how I like ended each night because the show floor closed, so I just wandered off the rock band stage and. Everyone does like a big ballad, and there's like swaying, and everyone has their iPhones out and stuff. It's just like stupid fun. Like, if you want to go to a video game event, go to PAX. Either one, I'm sure, is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Do you want to go next year? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so many events, a little time.
Maybe we should take little sis, little Shan.
Yeah. Drive her out there.
She's a bigger gamer.
Probably.
She's way bigger gamer than me. I like game culture. I just, I always watched you play. I was more of a backseat gamer. Oh, man, it is so hot in the studio.
What time is it?
10:30. I think I might not be able to hold on much longer. I got a long day tomorrow.
Yeah. I got a long day today, too, so I'm just kind of like off the buzz of today, being like,
oh, good.
Yeah.
You should stick around after. I want to hear what you're up to.
Oh, yeah. I won't tell you what happened yet today, because I want to make sure I have stuff written in blood.
Good.
Before I divulge it.
Oh, seriously. No, that's like anything. That's like animation studios. It's like, sure, you'll have a job here for the rest of the year. It's like, until I get the contract, I don't believe nothing. All you know is what's in that contract, because people can promise you the moon.
Yeah, I might be. I hope it works out, though, because I'm honestly, applying for jobs is one of the most drudgery things, because you spend all your day rewriting resumes to fit every place you're applying to, and if you're not hearing back from them, you start being like, what's the point?
I've never, it's interesting because I know there's a lot that goes into cold calling and trying to get yourself out there. Like, I've been stupid lucky since I got my first job because every job led to another job. Drawing for myself kind of led to the next job, so I've never had to cold call and try to get my way into, I mean, I don't know, it sounds so braggy to say, but pretty much most jobs I've had I've been lucky enough to just kind of land on me, and it happens, I guess, when you have more of something specialty, like not a lot of people storyboard.
That's the thing, yeah. Like,
so, I mean, especially when you have a certain thing you do, specifically, it is, maybe there's less people going to try and get those things, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into doing that. Like, you have to, just the way you present yourself, like you, just having to, like, find all these, what's available, just tailoring your presentation, people looking for animation jobs for the first time, you have to tailor your demo reels and your portfolios for those specific jobs as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when we come out of college, it was like, my first job, I don't think I got it because I was particularly, I was decent enough, but it was more like they needed the tax credit of having students. You get a tax credit if you hire people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was pretty entry level stuff.
That's the worst for the rest of us, though, because all the students are now getting the jobs we could be getting.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot that goes into that, because like my portfolio out of school wasn't very strong. I didn't know exactly what I even wanted to do. Like, it was a little bit of life drawing, a little bit of storyboarding, a little bit of animation. But I mean, it's important to put that stuff first. TB Dinner says luck or talent. Luck definitely helps you find the opportunities. Talent's what keeps you in the door, I think. And then that and being like good to work with, because
I think it's the three word gets around like, that you're good for the job, and that's how you get your next job. It's like, this guy remembers you and recommended you. Like, it's you may like if you're not working in the biz just yet, you may think it's like us. What's the word when people like hire just who they know.
But that does happen because it's like
Well, no, it's basically you think it might be like a negative kind of thing, like they only hire anyone who they know, but that's what people kind of do. That's how it works. Is you make friends, you make reliable work relations where it's like, I know this guy could do that job.
Yeah, it's like I trust this person's going to get the job done.
So in a weird way, no matter what the job is, you want to stand out. It's like you can't just be like me at some jobs, just hide in the corner and just do a good job and go home.
Yeah, because the thing is after that, you don't have those contacts, and it's like you don't have anyone to contact to fall back on. And I mean, if you have a really good portfolio, that's where that would totally fall in. Because I mean, if you're talented, there's no way they can ignore you. The unfortunate thing, I guess, for a lot of us shy people, and it's you can totally get better at it. Like I was super shy in high school, and I'm still pretty shy, but the thing with animation too is we have so much in common, so you just find people, we're all interested in similar things. But I mean, if you are a little bit more talented, if there's two people and one's a little bit more talented but the other one's a bit more friendly, like people tend to go with the person they can work with, or the person they know tend to. So I mean, it's important to not. And I'm not saying shy is bad, but if you have a big attitude and you're a big jerk, that obviously is a problem. But most people are really nice. Like, I've never really met any negative people in this industry. Cooper Design says if you want a noticeable portfolio, there's a good chance you will be in. A big portfolio is totally there. Will do the trick.
Yeah, because I feel like my demo reel is like all right. Mm-hmm. As far as I call myself like a motion graphic animator or like designer, heaven forbid, there's definitely a lot better people out there who've like delved in like 3D and stuff. And a lot of my stuff is fairly two-dimensional to even be motion design. It's just like moving things around. Mm-hmm. So it's like I know the software inside out, but I don't necessarily have like these breathtaking pieces of showing me using them. So now I'm just like trying to like make fake pieces, and not to say it's like fake, but it's just like it's not a job. I just need excuse to try something harder because in the past few months I haven't had any reason to like do 3D. And I was like, well, I should learn that. So now I'm learning some 3D. It's because I just need to start expanding my portfolio. Like you should always be improving your portfolio. That's it. If you're
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, if you need like a demo reel, you should always be like at the least like once a year make a new demo reel. But if you do something better, update your reel right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, tips I've always told too is when you're making a demo reel, you want to keep it short too because people want to see so many of them. And always put your best stuff first because you have to kind of assume that people are looking at so many reels that they're going to shut it off at any moment. So you want to keep grabbing them from the start. So, I mean, I'm not, going back to our thing, I'm not saying that personality is everything. It's like you gotta be a hustler and a businessman and schmoozy. Like, in this field, a lot of us are pretty, I'd say most of us are pretty introverted. Or not most, but a lot of us are pretty introverted with the drawing. You're spending a lot of hours being by yourself. It's just, you can't be super jerky because I think that'll obviously come back and hurt you in the job department. What else was I gonna say? There's so many good resources for this stuff. I'm just trying to think of a good place to send people. I don't know if anyone listens to Paper Wings podcast or Paper Wing podcast. It's done by comic artist Laura Innes and a Disney character designer, and they are full of really good advice for just animation and comics and how to manage your time. Something I could definitely learn to do better for my own projects. Yeah, I think Paper Wings podcast. Just check that out. It's definitely a lot of really great advice, and yeah, if you haven't checked them out yet, I highly recommend you do. I think that was all my cake advice for today.
Yeah.
My brain's pretty dried up.
Is there any movies to casually hate on?
Oh, let me think.
I recently rewatched Down with Love again. Down with Love.
I like the way you said the title was just dropping.
Well, it's Ian McGregor and Squinty.
Renee Zellweger.
There you go, Renee Zellweger.
Squinty.
And I remember like it was being put on the TV, and for some reason in the back of my mind, I'm like, I know I don't want to watch this, but I completely forget why. And the first half, like the first 2/3 of the film was actually quite charming and silly and very like, like the wardrobe and the set designers had a lot of fun doing.
Yeah,
this.
because it's cute. It's 50s, right? 50s.
Yeah,
60s, very cute.
and then right near like in the last third, this whole weird plot twist comes out of nowhere.
There's this weird monologue where
Yeah,
the story's kind of interesting, and spoilers.
Well, are we allowed to spoil this Down with Love?
Yeah, we're gonna spoil Down with Love. Sorry, everybody.
Alright, well, the premise of Down with Love is Renee Zellweger as Barbara Novak writes this book called Down with Love, talking about how the modern woman doesn't need a man or love, and basically it starts inspiring like the nation of women to like go to the work, do their own jobs, and not be just secretaries and stuff.
All the men are like, what?
It's very kind of like the end of the Mad Men era. Is kind of what Down with Love is based in, and the idea is Ian McGregor is like this reporter
Don Draper,
called
Madman.
Oh, what's his name? He's this reporter who does all these exposés and stuff. And originally he was supposed to do as a favor for Niles from Frasier, who's in it. And he's fantastic in this movie. I forget his name. As a favor to him, he's going to do an interview for Barbara Novak. He's like, oh, she wrote this book. I couldn't do it. And then her book becomes huge. And then when he calls to do the interview, she like refuses because she's pissed off at him now. So he wants to like ruin her by pretending to be another guy who proves that all women.
Oh, so he can make her fall in love with him to prove that she needs a man. Yeah.
And so he pretends to be this like astronaut who didn't know about the book name. Like
he's like, oh, I had no idea you were a famous person who wrote this book.
And though normally he's like the Casanova, man's man, woman's man, whatever around town.
Yeah.
With her, he's like oh, I did not mean to suggest I wanted to sleep with you. That he's like this very like clean.
I mean, there's so many stories like this, yeah.
Well, like the whole purpose was to finally, to finally get her to admit, like, oh, I'm not a down with love woman. I love being married. Like,
I didn't find the right man.
Yeah, and so that all makes sense. But then out of nowhere, after that scene happens where they finally do that, she reveals that she was originally one of his secretaries who was not noticed by him and wanted him to love her, so she decided to change her name and write a book.
She decided to write a book empowering women to hopefully
and it'd be so successful. And it was basically that whole, like, I know that you know kind of thing. Where,
but the thing is, it's like this 5-minute her just talking, I knew that you would know this, and so I
which was meant
slowly
to be,
tricking
like,
in on her face.
It's probably, like, Oscar-worthy speech.
It was
like this
weird.
This one take, Tom Hanks kind of speech of her saying, I knew that this would happen, so I did this, I knew this. And it basically, like, it was baffling because there was no hint at all anywhere in the whole movie that this would happen. There was, like, it came out of absolutely nowhere.
I guess they just needed a twist.
Yeah, there's no way you can guess this twist was even happening. And it really kind of just threw off the whole movie where I'm like, what just happened? Like,
this scene is weird.
Yeah, and it created, like, a whole new conflict for the third act that got resolved right at the end. And it was just like, it just kind of disregarded everything the movie was really leading up to.
Yeah, because suddenly it was like, even everything she stood for as being empowering was like her just trying to catch his attention, I guess.
But then after they tried to fix it
jerk.
by having the flight attendant who was like walked in them come back and be like, oh, you were Barbara Novak all along, you inspired me. And she's like, oh, I guess I don't want to marry you because I inspired everyone and now I'm going to make my own magazine. And you're just like, what just happened? Like, it was the most out of place. Like, it sounded like someone just thought, like, you know what would be cool? If we put a twist at the end.
Yeah, like, how do we get this into being, like, something no one would ever expect?
Yeah, and I don't know, and I completely forgot about this element of the movie. Like,
you knew there was something you didn't like, you weren't sure what it was.
I knew in the back of my mind I didn't want to watch this movie. I didn't know why, because the first half is funny, everyone's on the ball, it's very witty, it's got a lot of funny, like, camera and editing techniques. And visually it's great, music's great. Everything about the movie is just kind of cute and funny. And then it just takes the strangest turn.
Yeah, it was like they didn't want to be just cute and funny. They wanted to try and do something standoutish, which ended up taking you out of the movie because it was weird. And you gotta think as an editor, it's like, I don't think this is working for what this is. Maybe save this for something else.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of like the original Clerks. The original, I don't know if everybody's seen Kevin Smith's Clerks, but it's like the day in the life of two quick-talking,
convenience store
witty clerks who work in a convenience store. The original ending, Dante, I guess the more straight, narrow of the two, ends up getting shot by a crook who's robbing the store. And I guess the whole point was supposed to be, you know, this person gets shot, who is he? Let's find out his backstory. But it was such a freaking downer, and it was like,
well, the idea was it almost kind of tried to give life to like a clerk, because it's like you hear in the news, oh, a gas station attendant was shot, and it's like, oh shit.
But that's
this was like this is his life and all his problems, and he finally gets to the place where he wants to be, and then all of a sudden this meaningless thing happens. So I can understand why Smith originally had that in the movie.
Yeah. Because I mean,
it's supposed to be there today. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even supposed to be here, and that's tragic.
But as a movie, you really got into this character, and it was really kind of like, I don't need this artsy message twist at the end to be like, oh. And it was really kind of like the audience just didn't go with it.
That is the thing, because it's like, you know, how, I guess it's like the importance of your original intent versus do you want to make a story that'll stick with people. Like, because I feel like if you went with that twist, people would just kind of be like, oh, that depressing movie.
Yeah, because we all love Dante. Like, even though he's obviously flawed, but he's like stuck in the grind. Like, he doesn't even know why he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And like he learned something by the end, but then it's like even after that he gets shot anyway, it's like, oh, so much for that. I guess.
It makes you feel kind of like, what's the point? And I think the thing is, life is very much what's the point sometimes, that it's not fair for cinema to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, people will argue this, that it's like, you know, cinema isn't supposed to just be an escape, and I think that stories should also teach you things and should give a message and should be a learning tool as well, but sometimes you just want to get out of the drudgery of just whatever the 9 to 5 is, and you know, you don't want to be manipulated into something like, and life sucks, you know, go back to it. It's just like, thanks. You know, what did I just spend the last 2 hours in this world for? And I mean, that's why we get so angry about bad movies, because it's like, what was I investing all my free time into?
It's like you feel lied to. Like, this is what happens with a lot of TV shows.
Yeah, and that's the problem with bad TV and bad movies. When you feel like you're lied to, you just get pulled out of it. And that's kind of like when we were watching Lost. It was like, towards the end, we felt like we had to go with it just because we had to keep going with it, but it was like, things aren't going. It was one of those, like,
how else could you end it kind of things, where it's like, I can't think of anything else, though, so whatever.
Yeah.
Chalk another one up for didn't write it at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. But that's the mystery box thing, though. The whole point was it was more about the mystery than solving the mystery. But
yeah,
that's also the problem. I mean,
mysteries are better than answers often.
And it's hard, because it's like when you have a good mystery or like, you know, sometimes the hardest part of a movie is a proper ending. You know, usually an ending is just like, and tomorrow will be another day. But an ending, those are hard to do.
That being said, I love the ending of Cabin in the Woods.
I haven't seen it yet.
I've talked about it briefly before. I'm not going to spoil nothing, but check out Cabin in the Woods. It's one of the funnest movies I saw. It plays well with, you know, a little fourth wall type stuff, but it plays well with the genre tropes or whatever you want to call it. It's definitely worth checking out.
I will do so. Have you seen Prometheus yet, by the way?
You what?
Have you seen Prometheus, by the way?
No, I haven't got.
There's some funny stuff in it I want to talk about.
I haven't seen Men in Black 3.
There's some weird character decisions in Prometheus that I'm just like, what?
You're like, Ridley.
Why would you do that? Ripley wannabe. I was looking.
I like Ridley Scott.
Ridley. Yeah, I
don't know. Ripley. Wait, is there a Ripley wannabe?
Yeah, the main character's kind of like the Ripley-ish.
Right.
She's Ripley-ish.
Does she have the curly hair?
She's got short hair.
It should be curly. I want her to have like a Ripley wig.
It's more modern. Curly was very 80s, 70s.
Does she have like the padded shoulder jacket too? She's fighting
she gets to run around in a white tank top at one point.
Oh, that's good.
There's this bad.
Don't say nothing.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything. There's some stuff I want to talk to you about after you see it, because it's just like, why would you do that?
Yeah, definitely. I will have that. I haven't actually heard much from Spider-Man though. Like, no one's really talking about it.
I've heard
it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, oh yeah, it came out.
Is it the same guy who does J. Jonah Jameson?
Oh, I don't even know if he like goes to work. But like, I'm curious to see it. Like, in comparison to Dark Knight, I'm more curious to see Spider-Man. Like, Dark Knight, those trailers are so boring.
I know. I was actually talking about Dark Knight with Jerry the other day. I was like, do you think they'd ever bring Robin into Dark Knight? And it was like, probably not, because Dark Knight is catering to a very dark Batman. who's kind of bent on revenge, and I don't think there's a place in this world for like, I now saved a circus kid who's gonna be my ward. I feel like Robin was introduced as like a family-friendly character kind of for the comics and for the 70s show, but I don't know how they
series are like more boys will watch if a boy is in it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the young Buckley character. Like, oh, Buckley.
It's like because Captain America needed a boy to run around and punch Nazis with him, you know.
Yeah, well, so instead they make him like an older friend, I guess.
So Bucky. Yeah, that makes more sense. So, but like the Robin in the previous Batman was a joke because it's just like.
Well, Chris O'Donnell is like this 28-year-old orphan that.
This poor 27-year-old boy needs to be taken under my wing.
Like he needs a job, is what this boy needs.
Like dude has his own motorcycle.
Yeah,
pretty
he's got
sure
his
he
own
can like
apartment.
stay with his girlfriends or something.
He's probably got like a wife and kids, and he's like being adopted by.
That'd be so funny. At the end of the movie, you just see him like come home to his family, and they're like, "Where were you, honey?
How was your day?" He's in Little Italy. Lorraine, leave me alone. Gotta go live with my rich bachelor patron.
That'd be funny.
Dress up in spandex. You don't ask what I do.
Well, definitely, like I'm very curious to see, and if like J. Jonah shows up in the next Spider-Man, it better still be J.K. Simmons.
Oh, better be J.K.
I don't care
Simmons.
about
I
like
love him,
retcon.
especially after Cora.
He was so good in Spider-Man. Like he was the only reason I kept watching. Honestly,
he's the best. He is. He totally embodies that character.
Yeah, like why not? They should just reveal him, like pull away a newspaper. It's just him again. It's like perfect.
I know it'd be so good. I can't picture anyone else acting as him.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Hopefully he just doesn't get a job in this new series. Or he works on the web, and so he gets he works outside the building. He does it like on his laptop from his house.
Oh yeah.
So you just see emails from Jonah being like, "Parker,
Parker." They're all in caps. Parker.
He's like yelling at him. Fetch the Spider-Man. He's like, all right. So he goes in the bathtub and dresses up and takes self photos. And it's like, it's like
high
the
shots.
Self photo of Spider-Man. Like you see the arm in the shot.
One's like kind of holding up the shirt a bit so you see his abs.
See like the mirror and like Aunt May or whatever's in the background. Perfect.
Oh my god.
The best. Modern Spider-Man tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. It looks like I have no expectations. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if bad. I don't know if it's mediocre, whatever.
Medicore?
Whatever. I mix up words sometimes.
Yeah.
Like kiosk. Koisk.
I gotta go meet at the Koisk.
Yeah.
So good.
Anyways, well, we're going to be wrapping up on the hour here. Close to 11.
Yeah. Yeah, I should probably get some sleep. I gotta get into the studio bright and early to make my deadline.
Mm-hmm. I gotta just do what I do.
Yeah. Cool. Alright, well I think we'll maybe start wrapping up unless you have things to announce.
Atomic Lollipop is coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
Up at the hotel airport area around Dixon Road and stuff. Random North is usually somewhere. I think it's at the Sheraton now. Check that out. I think it's Saturday and Sunday. This weekend, there's a Ferris wheel, there's a bouncy castle, and there's events. So it's not exactly a con, it's more of an outdoor shenanigans, but you still pay. And you ride for it. I think there's like Pokemon and stuff going on. So check that out. That's happening. What else we got going? To you next, Katie. How do you deal with sweaty hands when you draw?
I actually don't get sweaty hands.
Okay.
But I guess a towel.
I deal with it.
I mean, it's really hot in here, but my hands aren't. I mean, they're warm, but I know a lot of people that use gloves. They'll have like a what was it they used to do? You got hander pants over there, don't you?
Yeah, mention that. Like we just found another box of them.
You get like cloth gloves and you cut the fingers out, and then you just use that to not smudge. There's a girl at my work who has like it's great. She has those fancy like Jessica Rabbit like party gloves. Yeah. She's got that with like the fingers cut out so that her hand can slide over the Cintiq easily. I think that's really good.
Nice.
They're silver and it just looks like cool.
What else is going on?
Yeah, no smudge gloves.
We got Con Bravo coming up at the end of the month.
Yeah, I will have a table.
He's going to be there. I don't think I'm going to be there until the Sunday.
Boo.
Because Silver Snail is doing their moving thing on that Saturday, Silver Snail Comic Shop.
So sad.
35, 36 years in Toronto, finally moving to Yonge and Dundas, and they need your help.
Yeah.
Go sign up and you'll be put in a raffle. You can get free t-shirts saying I helped move a comic shop, and just generally, when's the last time you moved a comic shop? So sounds like it's going to be interesting. If not a part of Toronto history, if you're around, check that out.
There's going to be no reason for me to be on that side of Queen anymore.
Yeah, I know. I am done.
Yeah.
What else
we've
is
been going
on?
there since we were kids. That was the first comic shop we ever went to.
Yeah, man. Or well, maybe Streetsville was before.
Oh yeah, the Comic Dungeon.
Oh,
that was the first Toronto comic shop.
Yeah, Stanley was the first Toronto. What else is coming up? I can't think of it. Brain. As always, since we only got, someone last week's like, oh, you're always selling the same advertisements at the end of your episodes.
Oh,
we have Silly Kingdom here to buy. If you bought them all, we wouldn't have to advertise them anymore now, would we?
Actually, I'm going to double check to make sure it's there, but we sent 20 copies of Silly Kingdom to Trickster in Comic-Con.
Hey.
So if you're interested in picking up a copy minus shipping, there will be copies there, only about 20 of them. And Trickster is the free event across the street from Comic-Con. I'm not exactly sure where it is this year. It's in the same area. I'm not sure what building it is, but they will let you know. It's the IndieCon that coincides, or not coincides, independently next to San Diego Comic-Con, during San Diego Comic-Con. And there are events, and there are cool talks, and little parties, and light drawings, and I don't know if there's screenings, but lots of awesome industry folks go there. You should definitely check it out because it's free, and it's got a lot of great indie art and comics from comic artists and animators and lots of people, and it is totally worth checking out if you feel that maybe San Diego Comic-Con doesn't really cater to the comic crowd as much anymore, because I know a lot of people are pretty jaded by the con, that it's more of a big media frenzy. So I think Trickster would be for you. And Silly Kingdom will be there.
Yeah.
Just not us.
And if you're not going to Silly Kingdom but want to experience what it would have been like to buy Silly Kingdom at Comic-Con, get a copy of the movie Comic-Con Episode 4 Fans Hope, and buy a copy of Silly Kingdom and just hand it to yourself and pretend you're at the con.
Yeah.
And just like being there. The website is sillykingdom.com. I'll take you to the blog. All the information is there. All the fan art. We love fan art. We want more. If you got nothing going, just draw it on a napkin and scan it. And then we'll put it up on the website. There's also the cautionary tales and fairy tales you can find at
CFFT.
Yes.
Big Cartel.
Big Cartel. Callan's also a new book. I think the Kickstarter went through, right? Or there's like $20 left.
Actually, if you're at Comic-Con, Kellhound, I believe, has a table, Kel McDonald, so you can get them there.
Do that.
What else? I will have copies at Con Bravo. If you're at San Diego Comic-Con, have an amazing time. We wish we could be there.
Pictures, make us jealous.
Yeah. And what else was I going to say? We have Facebook now, and that's where we will... That's probably a better place to see what we're up to. If we're running late, we'll put it there. You might miss us on Twitter. So that's Shanahanigans on Facebook.
SHANAHANIGANS. Simple as that. Just remember that song.
Yeah.
Go to Facebook.
Remember that monotone in your head.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm done for the day.
I know. It's been...
a lot of updates going to be there. Otherwise, check out the Twitters. Shaggy Shay on Twitter. Kitty Shy on Twitter. And anything else is success. So go to the Facebook. We're going to hopefully make sure most of the information that you want is there.
Yes.
Anything else?
No, that's about it. I haven't really drawn anything new, too. So if you're still staring at that screen, that pretty much is me right now.
It didn't freeze.
There's maybe some more tiny heads. I'm just holding very still. Oh, look at how still I am. Achoo! Oh, I didn't even move.
Cool. So next week, usually Wednesday at 7:30. If not, we'll keep you posted. It'll be around 9:30.
TV Dinner says I bought all the books. Yes, you did. You are fantastic.
We'll provide more books to buy. Don't worry.
We'll make more stuff. So thanks again for tuning into the late show. There will be less of these once I'm finished my contract on this feature project, which is finished in end of the month. So thanks for putting up with our lateness. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks as always for tuning in.
And I hope you learn something.
Yeah. And I will...
I only have so much knowledge. You're going to be like running out of things to say by episode 100.
Oh, I know. We'll just be kind of staring at the screen.
It's like, now go off and make your own thing.
Yes.
I've taught you everything.
Alright guys, have an amazing weekend. And, oh man, we need some kind of awesome sign-off. Bye!
Bye.